Plus relaxing. Waiting to happen. I don't know anything about audio.
No, you don't. Sorry. So you need the manual?
Yeah. I'm going to drop that thing off. Mine's off. I'm going to put this here. It's right there.
No. I also have a clothing.
You can take it.
Really? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Trying to project. First of all, I want to thank Philip for the use of his place, and of course Saul. I want to thank them also for getting home to get me permission to leave without adult professional supervision. It's not often that I get to embarrass myself in front of a large group of people. I usually accomplish that in front of a large group of trees. I know time is limited, so I need to individually thank certain people. Half my friends showed up tonight, so Glenn, thanks for showing up. Those that have struggled to remain friends with me against their better judgment know that nobody likes to hear me talk more than myself. So what I'm going to attempt to give tonight are some of 50 years of poetry. They're pretty much tattooed on my soul, a lot of them. I'd like to egotistically say they're mine, but they're not. I've been receiving poetry since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it's you know, it's said that a poet takes life by the throat, but I think, frankly, poetry takes a poet by the throat. So, many people have asked me over the years how I write my poetry, and, well, actually a few people, actually nobody. Asked me, but I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you anyway, because I had this opportunity. She dragged me away from my microscope. When I was and this is, you know, you bury your soul as a poet, so at least you suffer under that impression. I was very deeply distressed and traumatized as a child, a condition which persisted until about 3 minutes ago when it intensified. In any event, so as a child, I said this is true, actually, I said a pretty strange prayer for a child, because I actually was very distressed, and it's a very strange prayer. I asked God if God would make the invisible world visible. Of course, it's a pretty general prayer, so you never know what you're going to get. So shortly after that, I started to hear poetry, and I started writing it down. So since then, I have just written it down as fast as it comes. Some of it is outside of time and seems to get sort of written on my inner parts, so I haven't forgotten most of what's happened in 50 years, most of what's been written down. Mind you, I'm not saying it's mine, because it doesn't feel like mine, quite a bit of it. So anyway, that's the deal. So I'm glad to share it with you, because it's as much a gift to me as it is to others. So the first poem actually is, Lily Morris is just, I'm so entranced with her. I have to say something about her first. I met Lily when she was 8 or 9 years old. I actually didn't meet her, I met her folks. And on the wall of their very humble home was this ceramic dish with a child leaping out of the dish with both arms and her mouth agape, just going, and I stood there staring at that, and I said, I love this, I know this person. And they said, that's our daughter Lily. And then she came flying, you know, down the stairs and out the door, and there she goes. So that was Lily. So I've known her since she was 9 years old. And she's not from around here, as you can tell by her paintings. She's always done this, so I'm so thrilled. I commissioned her years ago. I sent her 8 poems, and I was just amazed that she got them and interpreted them in paintings. So it's mind-boggling. I don't know how she does it. So anyway, the second one there is called Aspen. I'll share that with you. I'll tell you a little story about it. So, it goes, your peaks I have traced on the outlines of space and breathed where the air is so thin. I've stared at your grace like a beautiful face while the outcrops of rock took me in, whose heart flowers will wait for the snow to abate and laugh wherever they will. The echoes won't hide but attempt to confide the garments of each precious hill. Rolled over folds my heart cannot hold, and green holding on where it can. The aspens keep time in the groves, which sublime the canyons as deep as they can. And down the far side, where the hills like some tide have frozen the brown grass and stone. And while no one explains how the beauty remains, its purpose won't leave us alone. Sorry, please. I'm done. So the next poem is called Beautiful. And I'm going to get it out here. It's called Beautiful. Too beautiful to go back to sleep. Actually, before I do that, so the poem Aspen came to me up at Maroon Bells up above Aspen, Colorado. And I came down and I recited it to my cousin's little child, Maggie. She was about 7 or 8. And when I got done, she looked up at me as if all the stars and moons had been melted to make her eyes. She said, "How do you do that?" And I said, "Well, I can't do that. If I could, then I couldn't." She said, "Well, if you could, then you couldn't. How can you?" I said, "Well, here's the problem, Maggie. If I tell you the secret about writing poetry, then you'll be responsible. Are you sure you want to know?" Big responsibility. She thought about it for a bit, and then she said, "Yes." She was like Lily. And she said, "Yes, I want to know." I said, "All right, here it is." I said, "A poet is not one who writes poetry. A poet is one who writes poetry. Down. You see, it's always playing, and all you have to do is quiet yourself down enough to hear it. I haven't written more than one poem in my life, and it's not done yet." She said, "That's cool." So, beautiful. Too beautiful to go back to sleep. The morning sprite before the sun. Black silhouetted trees that edge the world re-speak stillness as night's undone. In quiescent twilight, day's birth, so perfect in its offering, infinite outcomes by love conceived immaculately, separate from our suffering. To taste the dew that's offered up, one would have to sacrifice the comfort of their darkened view, the trade-off believed that will suffice. So it's a crow that breaks the dawn, unravels peace that must unwind, and signals end to morning's birth, to usher deeds of man unkind, too beautiful to be believed, timeless in its continuing, miraculous to be conceived, so fragile in its offering. All right, so please, let's wait. Let's wait if you, I would really appreciate it. So, okay, so this is the parting. The parting. There is no place where leaves can fall, where the earth will not love to embrace, as no color deep can hope to enthrall my heart more than the gift of your grace. For the season's not a time for change, but a change for time to draw a breath, and with its canvas rearrange, light from dark, life from death. As terraced gardens disappear, milkweed pods their children strayed, adrift on songs we've yet to hear, the invisible law to be obeyed. And with each part the parting goes, the autumn winds, the summer seeds adrift beneath the winter snows, with noble dreams and daring deeds. So let time not into pieces go, where each without the other marks a broken part of the heart we know, complete, and sails where love embarks. Hawaii. Ascended not, I can't believe, from the belly of earth, this rusted place, but carefully descended through the clouds, heaven's steps each day retrace. What song have I strained to hear ringing out from the trusting land, this peaceful oasis floating now, ascended not from beneath the sand, whose children born with time not waiting, replaced by us who paved it over, who grapple with temptation, hating time, held against the unsure lover. Secret trees who were hidden well, forgotten lovers planted here. Speak sweetly to your children now, while they still have the ears to hear. Our hearts must pass through bamboo worth and ginger air whose breath is quick, whose fruit fed back to the mouth of earth, our path obscured by jungle thick, who flowers not because of rain, but because reminders must remind, so that all that's done is not in vain. Kindness teaching kind with kind. Kauai. Razor rays who cut the deep and travel where I cannot go, whose singing wakes me. I'm sorry, I should preface this poem. So this poem came after 10 days of swimming with dolphins. What an amazing experience. There were two that broke away from the pod and swam in a tight loop around me, and I swear one of them poked the other and said, "Hey Fred, this guy should not be in the water." Anyway, but when you have that experience, you hope something will distill from it. So this did after 10 days. So, razor rays who cut the deep and travel where I cannot go, whose singing wakes me from my sleep to teach me what I cannot know. Where time is such a precious thing, where every moment's handed down, too deep for us without fin or wing, immersed in every changing sound. And you have spied on us above, which for you is down beneath, and wondered how we carry love, away from shoal and coral reef. Bright clouds, umbrella, mountain green, unfold above the liquid land, whose beauty known remains unseen, still crafted by your steady hand. You hover where I cannot dwell, you swim in what I cannot know. Immersed in what you do so well, I float above, you fly below. Where time is split by each flapping wing, and stills the now, and floats the hour, and splits again, each time you sing, while praising each and every flower. As seeing is the cause of eyes, believing forms a need to know, while feeling casts its net for lies, loving sets it free to go. Each day, forsake these damaged goods, recycle me in lava flows, and let each sprout retune the woods till we can sing what heaven knows. Please, let's want to wait till the end, otherwise my head will get too big and I won't. Winter's busy child now sweeps the frozen pieces falling found each some place in mind to keep their beauty spread across the ground. So much different than my day, which falls wherever down it may. And all the creatures fast asleep, because that's the way it's all been planned. Frozen sound over white hills keeps the children tethered close at hand. Let me not snap like winter twigs as skies grow dark and early now. The gathered dark of snow clouds big directs me to my home and vow to not forget myself in fears. A mitten lost in snow squalls riot, but know I am where spring appears, only my eyes here in the frozen quiet. White lace swirls about my head, never takes from pleasant sight. This world turned upside down instead, so I might chance to get it right. Let time not bend me back and forth and snap me from my soul to touch, but polish me as some smooth stone, the kind one needs to hold so much. And fill my heart with all your plans that you entrust to evergreens, that I might come to understand the winter's hearth inside your dreams. Falling star. Though you've not seen the falling stars, the quiet lights roar through the night and hesitate, for all the while they need to reach to touch your smile. Silent seconds, quickest flame, having come so long, so far, burn and turn to look at you, then disappear because you are. As I'm walking, autumn's falling out to where the snow blankets all and leaves the fall all under as it goes. Seasons pass through heaven's glass, each waiting for the time we seem to have, most all our lives, for dreams we need to find. And my dreams, mine and yours, for not asking, a moment falling star lasting. There's not any way that I could touch or try, or deeply kiss you as much as when I think of who you are. It stirs the wind like falling stars. I'll give you a fair warning. Undying. The stars go undying while spring blooms, even the trees before leaves. When night convenes, Mars contemplates victory over my house, with closed windows to keep the moon out till sometime when I am dreaming of touching you as close as the earth. So few changes as the rain's conversation stops to hear the murmuring lowlands digressing to progress. How should I stay sane while you are picking the flowers I am thinking of? All my life will change as I wander through, knowing, unknowing, the stars, slowly watching, understanding that I feel the heavens when I kiss your face, and everything stops missing you. Whispers. Whose silent air this Christmas Eve, that all the world's a quiet plain, where prayers pray to all believe the impulse peace was born to reign. What silence rare this Christmas night, so all the earth can hope to hear the angels whispering the light, sweet vespers told from ear to ear. Who dances in the darkened halls with flickered candlelight within, behind the folded doors of hope where conscious love has not worn thin. And all the crickets there with us singing into all the nights as all the stars fell down from where they had been hung inside the heights. Whose precious hope in our poor trust the stillness slid beneath our doors, delivered in the time we must. Entrusted faith is mine and yours. Thank God we are so shortly here, so that there is a chance we will not attempt to steal the jewels from your crown, Alaska. Do you see me behind the walls of my stateroom, behind the walls of the jail that I carry? On this tiny ship, imprisoned far beyond the bars at the edge of the deck, within myself, which gratefully, graciously cannot hold one small measure of your grace. Thankfully, it does not recognize the smallness of me. Food for the moon indeed in this space, evolved beyond impossibility, miracles of life. I just barely understand these newborn visions. But now I know the one secret reason the salmon must return to the door of the edgeway of forever from so far off. And I will return if I can find my way again from oceans away. I never imagined such a beautiful woman whose eyes are the stars and moons melted, sighted and elegant beyond deepest feeling. In her evening gown, sequined with galaxies of alabaster ice blue, would be so much more refined as her garments slipped off my imagination into the sheath of forever evening light. Alaska, I thank you for not waiting for me, for making time itself forever, for replenishing my faith away from my kind into the sunshine of your night. Witness, witness one, unreliable for the defense, unreliable for the prosecution, unworthy receiver of events, unaware of the miracle of an arrangement of atoms infinite, observing itself. Unwitting witness, God's small window on the world in each of us. Witness two, small room, nice, tubing, dripping, slowly. Red poison and clear, premedication for my wife to not vomit up the world. I count the pills, keep track of time, tell her only 7 more times, just count backwards from 8. But nothing I have as a witness helps the defense. The sentence has been predetermined. If I had not witnessed this before, it would not be so vividly read this time around. Witness 3, you think you are a voice, the eyes and ears of God, but it's not your agenda that you're tracing. It's just the agenda of someone who's empty and filled themselves with power. If you would know God's will and find yourself some hill and spend an entire day interrogating a daffodil, not mowing the innocent down. Only March was given the right to terrorize the snowdrops. Witness 4, I pray for peace both without and within. The feeling of loneliness is measured as the absolute distance from God? Where is the voice, the real witness of time, beauty, and cleverness, to distill it down to something that can be whispered in my ear? If I can put down my agenda long enough to be your witness, even for just one moment each day, gift enough against all that above and those who do not witness your grace. Alien, if you were like me, you would go through your day like an alien, where the disconnected laugh of someone not too far away had no relevance except for its uniqueness, where the insane beauty of a young brown gull, somewhat audacious, follows you from the grocery store hoping you will drop something, where the seemingly disconnected reach of every branch of every tree seems perfect in its filling up of space, where every melting bit of ice pushed carelessly aside by the plow is transforming by every means possible from one state into the next. If you were like me, an alien, the peaks of someone else's house that appear on the horizon, barely visible, would be someplace you would want to visit, where the distant hills with their toothpick trees against the snow, nestled amongst the hills arranged by the Hudson River, would look perfect as the river current pushed down blocks of ice by choice. If you were me, you would feel like an alien when you wake up in the morning and your right arm doesn't work and you struggle for 45 minutes to get some sort of alien control over this human form. If you were like me, feeling like an alien when time does not advance, you would admire deeply your grandniece, who at 2 years old is directing traffic at the dinner table. And because she does understand better than the rest, is telling everyone it's not their turn to sing yet. If you were like me, an alien, you would question why the ancient instincts given to us to survive had not risen above our state of wonder and become awe itself. Deep asleep, I prayed a small boy prayer to see the invisible world that supports the visible. If only I could stay here in this place filled with awe, the intense miracle of each day, plants sucking water, birds supported by the wind I want, fish who wonder about air, us who wonder about nothing, asleep. Asleep so deep in ingratitude, in near worthlessness, spoiled children of earth. The garden invisible. Look at those who have nothing now that the shaking earth has taken back. Angry parent who punishes randomly because she sets an example. All we have been given will be taken away far deeper than us, deep asleep. So asleep we don't accept the great gift of even being each moment inside of time itself. If you are neither hot nor cold, it says, I shall spew you from my mouth. But I wonder if sometimes we are cold. So cold, we've been given a second chance. Love is. Love's never lost. The divine tide returns the moon, whose arms rest on the bow, once sailed the place the still water yearns, still sails and lays unbroken now. Love cannot be lost, though the words ride the rift, The roses stream down to the watery cast, heal the lost lovers who set them adrift, each knowing the other place themselves last. Make chocolate where the world has known none, make smiles full of knowing, where words need not tell. Make quiet the tremors of unsettled, undone. Make earth the sweet garden, make me your sweet well. It cannot be tossed out, it cannot abide. It cannot be captive, it imprisons us all. It cannot be set loose, it cannot confide, whether we distance its beauty or let ourselves fall. Hold hands in the knowing where the world has known none. Make smiles full of knowing where words need to fail. Hold quiet the tremors of unsettled, undone. Make you the sweet garden by which all others pale. And one last one. I saw an old man who looked like a tree. He said, no one saw him, no one but me. So he let me lie down with my back to his bark as the evening sky rolled through his arms into dark. I came to him often to ask many things. Why seasons must change, how birds got their wings, why he was my friend, why water was deep, why some things must pass and others must keep. And if I was quiet, he'd show me the way. He'd answer in time, with the world in his sway. His arms waltzed the grasses while they made the air sing, and he held me above him as the world was breathing. How the deepening light makes shadows to fall so creatures can come and find places to sleep. How light and darkness were clues to it all. How some were made full and others to weep. How water is found where it cannot be seen. How everything's patterned with laws we can't see. How man's dominion is not colored green. How the secrets are guarded by every old tree. So he whispered in tunes, conducted songs in the air. He colored the wind and he played with my hair. He waltzed with the grasses, allowed me always to start, and felt every tear for every beat of my heart. Thanks so much.
Wait. Can we have the three poets up?
I want to say a few words about,
Yes.
about Lily. I want to talk about Lily's art. So I'm so thrilled Lily could come here tonight. She just blows me away. Thank you. So just came back from Hollywood. She was out there for a month. She got tapped by the art director of a movie starring Sandra Bullock that's coming out. And the movie is about Sandra Bullock plays an artist, and Lily was chosen to do the art for the movie. So, doesn't get better than that. So I'm so glad she...
It's a scary movie.
It's a scary movie.
Yes. Before, wait. Peter. Over here, please. May I come?